Puppies are indubitably far more difficult to take care of than human babies.
My son started teething early and started producing too much saliva, so he could not sleep unsupervised or else he might drown on his own spit. My daughter is allergic to grass. Grass. All grass. Do you know how many places have grass? All of them. All of the good places have grass. My toddler, who hasn't ridden in a car a lot because of the pandemic, started projectile vomiting over the entire car as we sat in a drive-thru. And for those of you that don't know, toddler vomit is not like baby vomit. It's like adult vomit. It's bad. I still smell it. On an airplane, my son's diaper exploded. And I don't mean like leaked. I mean exploded. Over everything. My youngest likes chewing on things that are plugged in. Take it out of the wall? Disgusting. Plug it into electricity? Delicious. We also have a puppy. This is a story about a baby poop explosion on an airplane. If you don't want to hear it, I understand if you just scroll past. So we were circling the airport for a while. For some reason, our plane couldn't land, and my little boy had to go. And as the plane started descending, I don't know if it was an air pressure thing or what, but he also started going, and it just started coming out, and it was just, I was covered. I was absolutely covered. So the plane lands and we're sitting there in this horrible state, and they're telling us we can't get up because we're waiting for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, almost an hour parked on the runway. And finally I'm like, I can't, I gotta get up. And so I don't listen and I go into the bathroom, but since we were parked, the water wasn't working. There was no running water, and that's as much detail as I want to go into. I told my son that I used to be a paper delivery boy, and at the end of the month, I would use my paycheck to either rent VHS tapes from Blockbuster or buy cassettes from Sam Goody. He understood very little of that. Honesty of children can turn some of the things you'd never consider to be a compliment into the greatest compliment in the world. Right, I was taking my son home from school, and I decided to go take him for ices. And he says something like, "You're the best." And I said, "Am I the best dad in the world?" And he goes, "Well, every kid's going to think their own dad's the best." And I said, "Well, where do you think I rank in the entire world?" And he sat there, contemplating over his icy. And about 30 seconds later, he goes, "Ninth." It's a good rank. Right, and I asked him, "Well, how do I improve my rank?" And he thought some more, and he said, "By solving mysteries and learning magic." So I think I'm going to get a shirt that says "World's 9th Best Dad."
What do guys do that make them feel like a bad bitch?
So, you know, like when you were a kid, random strangers will just come up to you and say like nice things about how they like your outfit or your hair or whatever. But then when you become an adult, that doesn't happen anymore. Like unless it's like a creepy catcalling situation. Well, whenever my daughter does my nails, I get compliments all the time. Random people will come up to me on the street and be like, "I love your nails." And I'll just be like, "Oh, thank you." And so now whenever my daughter paints my nails, confidence through the roof, because I know no matter where I go, I'm going to get random compliments from people, and it feels great. So when my first child was born, we were very tired and exhausted, and I was trying to help as much as I could to let mom sleep as much as we can. And I've been up for about 30 hours at this point, and the phone in her hospital room rings, and it says, "Are you dad?" And I heard, "Are you dead?" And I didn't know how to answer. I was like, "Excuse me?" And she said again, "Are you dad?" And I was just like, I'm alive. She said, "Is mom awake?" And I just said, "Yes, we're both awake and alive. Thank you." And I hung up. So we had one of those heartbreaking parenting moments that no book can prepare you for this morning. My daughter woke up with a high fever, so we told her she was going to have to stay home from school. Normally, you'd expect a kid to be happy about getting a day off from school, but no, she breaks down hysterically crying because today was the Scholastic Book Fair. We gave her ice cream for lunch. Kids are great. My daughter just brought home this wonderful photo. Let me walk you through it. It's a self-portrait of my daughter right here on a swing. The yellow one, that's mommy also on a swing. But she said the blue one's not swinging. He's just sitting there, because that's big fat daddy. I love it. I wanted to document this because I'm not sure if it's a sign of growth or how pathetically far I have fallen as a human being in society. When I was this guy, I used to iron my jeans, get my hair cut every 2 weeks, shave daily. About 5 minutes ago, my toddler had a diaper on and she leaked some pee on me. And I looked down and said, that's not enough pee to change my shirt. So I listened to a lot of books on Audible, but my kids were being loud and just, being children playing around. And I looked on there and I was, oh, good, there's a PDF. So I'm reading the book instead of listening to it on Audible. And unironically, I was just like, oh, man, I wonder if they have these for all the audiobooks. I wondered if they had written versions of all the books. So I'm driving my 8-year-old son home from school, and he's, deep in thought. And then he just, yells out to me from the back seat, Dad, I want to get married. And I was like, now? Or he said, no, when I'm older, but I want her to be nice. And I said, it's pretty important. Anything else? And he said, I want her to have a name that I like saying, and I want her to like at least one thing about me. And that's a pretty good list.
Men don't like loud women.
No, men who look at their spouse as property to attach their name to are scared of loud women. They are fragile. I have 2 daughters, and they are kind, and they are caring, and they are creative, and they are so loud. And I hate that they're going to hear messages like this that hope to silence them.
What is your cure? I just want to know.
I thought I knew true love, but I have never loved anything as much as she loves that frosting on that donut.
So Texas Republicans want to ban drag shows in the presence of minors.
This past weekend, we took our 3 young, impressionable children to a drag show in the park, billed as family friendly, and it led to some really difficult conversations on the car ride home. My 7-year-old son wanted to know, why were they lip syncing instead of actually singing? My 5-year-old daughter wants to know if she can do her makeup like that. And my poor little 2-year-old, wanted confetti, just like they threw. It was one of the most wholesome days I can remember ever having as a family. So this picture popped up in a gaming forum I'm a part of, and I showed it to my 5-year-old daughter and said, baby girl, do you have any questions? And she said, what are their names? And I told her that's Hulkling and Wiccan. I said, but are you confused about anything in this? And she said, well, what are their powers? And I said, no, but do you need me to explain anything in this photo? And she said, why does he have wings? And I was like, I forgot. You aren't filled with hatred yet.